What's up, everyone? Welcome to the North Leeds Jitz podcast. Today on the show, I'm really honoured to be joined by Professor Lucio Lagarto, who he's like one of the most famous guys in the whole of Gracie Barra and one of the best stories in the whole of Jiu-Jitsu. So
thanks, brother.
Thanks so much for having me down for the comp class that we just did. Got beat up by all the guys, and thanks for doing this, man.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you.
I saw you nearly got some couple of arms, and you're really good in the arm bar for full guard.
That's the funny thing about the coaching of the. I didn't play a lot of full guard until I started coaching more of the GB1 classes.
Yeah.
And because closed guard comes up so much in the GB1 curriculum, like you just end up going there all the time, you know.
Interesting was you start to teach how much you learn, right?
Yeah.
You need to put a lot of attention to the small details, and they start getting better in things that you didn't expect. It's so interesting.
When did you start out teaching jiu-jitsu? Was it quite soon after?
Yeah, I'm teaching jiu-jitsu since when I was 15 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, when I was 16 years old, I opened my first academy in Rio de Janeiro.
Your first academy?
Yes.
Wow.
I was just helping, teaching the class. I hired a friend of mine to teach. He was brown belt to teach the majority of the classes. But most of the times he was super tired, so I ended up teaching the class.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm teaching, since very,
At 16, you were what, a blue belt?
I was blue belt. Yeah, I just got my blue belt.
And you opened a school in Rio?
In Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah.
Wow. It was so interesting because all the time people was coming to challenge us.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
there's no, to open a school here. It's a different story, than, if you compare to open school in Rio de Janeiro. And I remember, like, at least every week have someone coming through the door to challenge us.
What, Lucha Libre guys or just anyone?
Anyone, yes, anyone. I remember a story, the guy was a huge guy. He come like on Monday, sit on the corner, watch the whole class. Can I help you? How are you? He didn't speak one word. So, like, completely ignore me. And then he did this like all the way through the week. Then on Friday, he said, okay, I don't believe on the art. I want to try. I said, okay, you can do the class. No, we're super friends. No, I want to try with my rules. I said, okay, what's your rules? They got really mad, What are your rules? They said, my rules like a street fight. I said, okay, that's fine. Let's do your rules then. And it was really interesting because after, I didn't want to put him in a position to go straight with the head coach. So I put myself, in the line.
Yeah.
And I managed, same story as we see in a lot of jiu-jitsu moves, a lot of jiu-jitsu stories. Double leg him, get his back and choke. Again, double leg him, got his back and choke. They eventually start training jiu-jitsu and he loved it. And become a good friend, He was a very funny guy. He just, he needed his lesson a little bit.
Do you think nowadays, I think Gracie Barra sometimes gets criticized, maybe unfairly as well, for being kind of becomes like almost corporate. And do you think we've lost anything from those days when it was like a bit more raw? Or do you think we've only kind of got better and better? Have we lost anything on the way?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. I see a lot of people, usually the people who criticize, they got stuck on time and they think they call old school jiu-jitsu and the new school jiu-jitsu, right? And they think the lack of organization and also to be tough, you need to train as crazy as possible. And what he did in the Gracie Barra is very simple. We just organize the level of the class and you cut the madness of people getting injured in the process. So 3% of the school, of the Jiu-Jitsu Academy, it's people who like to compete, people who go for competition.
Yeah.
So what happened to the 97% of the other people, right? So Carlos Grace, our master, he just realized that. And he just said, listen, we're missing a lot of things here. We're missing the real meaning of the Jiu-Jitsu, to spread the Jiu-Jitsu around the world, to make the human being a better person through Jiu-Jitsu. Some are gonna like to compete, but the majority won't. So then we have class now for every level. Of course, I have students, they have like a family guy, family woman. They'll train like once a day after a hard day of work, right? But I have blue belts, that's a world class. So, in the same, but the guy who's world class, he just put more time, right? He dedicated himself more. And yeah, I think just a missing understand especially from the other teams, that's not from Gracie Barra. But I like that. I like because first, I look this way. First, they will criticize you. Second, they're going to start to observe what you're doing. And third, they copy you. And that's when the things everyone start to gain with this.
Yeah.
Because once as much people we reach out with the Jiu-Jitsu, I believe the world become better.
I think you see that a lot now. I mean, I spoke to, both Professor Pedro Coelho and over in Portugal and Professor Ana Laura, and they both said to me on the podcast, like, Gracie Barra is like 10 years ahead of all the other kind of organizations. And you do kind of see like them kind of picking up on the things that we were doing and then got criticized for, and now they're doing the same, right?
Yeah, it's so funny. I see a lot of guys. It's really funny because we are on this journey, all of us together. And the majority of us were just trained our whole life and eventually become school owners and become business guys that we think we know what we're doing. And what the platform, what we have in the Gracie Barra, it's something unique. Professor Pedro from Portugal, Pedro Coelho, he put it really well. We are 10 years ahead. Why we are 10 years ahead? It's not because myself as a professor, you as a coach, we are special human beings. Yes, we are, because we believe to grow together as a team and follow the plan. And we have a huge base, a lot of people to get paid to do the business part of the Jiu-Jitsu Academy. And we study, we learn, and we apply this in the academy. We need dedication. We need the time. It's hard work. It's not just copy and paste. I try to give a tip. Friend of mine, he has academies, the place, and they could see he was not doing really well. When his wife got really mad because I said, what you gonna tell me to do? Just to put a posters on Instagram? We are waiting to do this. And I thought so funny, exactly what I said. People, they really believe they know what they're doing. And then when I start to see, majority of the people who have the Jiu-Jitsu Academy, they even don't know what's leads. If I ask them, how many leads you generate a week? They don't know. And they have class together, advanced, beginners. It's a mess. And the bad thing behind this is when the person have a bad experience in the Jiu-Jitsu, they will quit. And it's not just about they will quit, they will spread the message. That person, a lot of Jiu-Jitsu schools, that's what happened. They go there, start training, and they get injured. People who's teaching them, they're not teaching them the class more about the coach and the professor than the students.
Right.
Right?
Look how good I am.
Yeah, look how good I am. They teach like things they're good at. Why? Lack of structure, lack of a class plan. So that's the student, the human being around our community. is going to suffer this.
Right.
So that's the shame. But we are much better than a few years ago. And I can say I'm really happy to see the other schools, they start to look at us, what we are doing, and they start to duplicate and do the same. But exactly as you said, coach, they criticize, then after they observe, and after they copy, they start to copy now. I'm really happy for this.
Yeah. It sounds like, starting out your first school at, 16, it sounds like you're very entrepreneurial, and now with your academies and stuff like that. Has Jiu-Jitsu taught you much about business as well? Or?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. But I always trying to learn outside the mats how to run a successful academy. But that was easier because I have my mentor, Carlos Gracie Jr., that I always could reach out. I always could speak with him. But now he could not keep on doing that. A lot of Gracie Barra, we are more than 900 schools around the world. So then they create the ICP, Instructor Certification Program. That's make all of us connected and follow the same vision and doing the same thing. All these make everything easier. We talk about marketing, we talk about how to teach, everything is there.
Yeah.
So it's our Bible, right? So
it always makes me smile a little bit when I hear about Professor Carlos. Because as you say, because he started to have so many students that were open up academy, and you just send them all around the world. Carlos Lemas, you go over here. Professor Piano, you go over here.
Exactly. He sent me to Portugal.
Yeah.
I was just upcoming. I had in 2004, the best fight of the world was my fight as a brown belt against Ronaldo Jacaré. And that was really interesting moment because from that moment was just the tough Lagarto to the Lagarto the world start to look at, right?
Yeah.
And Carlos, Master Carlos, he asked me to go to Portugal to start the Gracie Barra, to start develop the Gracie Barra in Portugal, in Europe. And after a few months, I moved the north of UK. Wow. So Carlos Gracie always have that vision to have one school in every city in the world. When he told me that, I must say, I thought he was like, oh my God, it's crazy. That's never going to happen. But I'm going to stick with him. Carlos Gracie like my second dad. Right. I spend a lot of time with him, and I'm really glad of that. He taught him so many things since, like the mindset, and also, things like how to eat, what don't eat, and the perspective to look life. So he's my proper mentor. So I learn, and I owe a lot. I pay a lot of respect for him.
Right. There's a few things to touch on there. Tell me a bit about that. The brown belt match with Jacare in 2000. There's quite a story behind that, right? Because it was like a big build up to that. Tell me a bit about that.
Jacare, he's Jacare. Ronaldo Souza, right? Ronaldo Souza, his nickname is Jacaré, means alligator. He was fighting UFC, he just retired. He lost a couple of opportunities to win the belt of the UFC. Not because of his skills, because he was amazing, he smashed a lot of people, but he was not very, the trash talk guy, didn't really sell the tickets, how UFC like, Yeah. So he lost a lot of opportunities. And he ended up retired. He just retired, I think last year, if I'm not wrong, or maybe the beginning of this year. But Jacare, he make the entire generation work so hard. Myself, Braulio Stima, Roger Grace, everyone from the other teams, like Sean Ribeiro, everyone, make everyone work so hard because everyone knew to win the open division, the black belt would have to face him sooner or later. And Jacare was a killer machine. He was like he used to train so much, so much, and he was so focused. I remember one of his stories. He just come to Rio de Janeiro to fight the Worlds, and he just have the money just one way. He didn't have money to go back.
Wow.
So he was expecting to win, get some money from a sponsor here and there, and go back to Manaus. Manaus is a very, very hot place because you get the cities in the middle of the jungle. So all the forests close there.
Is that the same place as Victor and Braulio? Are they from
No, Victor and Braulio is from Pernambuco.
Pernambuco?
Yeah, it's Manaus more like in the middle of Amazonia.
Okay. Right.
It's really, really, really hot. And that's where Jacaré is from. And Jacaré's master was Henrique. That is Gracie Barra. He has a huge Gracie Barra now. Master Henrique, and he used to have a very good judo base, very aggressive, very tough submissions, super fast, super explosive. So was a top athlete, and I remember in 2004 when I fought against Jacaré, the final of the Worlds, I was training the whole year just waiting for that moment because I knew how upset Jacaré was. And I was training, I was so focused waiting for that moment. I was looking forward, I was sleeping and dreaming about that. Jacaré fought against Rodrigues in the finals of 2003, the Worlds, and he lost. And Henrique, his master, because he lost, he punished him. He punished Ronaldo Jacaré in another year in the brown belt.
Brown. Right.
So I saw Ronaldo Jacaré for 1 year. He was not even competing anymore. He was killing people for 1 year.
Right. Nobody
scored him one advantage in the whole year. He was submitting. I saw it in a competition. He finished the fight and he called the referee to call the second fight. He even didn't leave the mat. And I said, okay, that's gonna be my final, That's gonna, and I knew it would be a war. I knew that. And that moment, then when we went to the final, I just remember that my mind was like, doesn't matter what happened, I will not tap, I will not quit. That was my mindset. I wanted that so much. I trained so much. I say, I will. When I step on that fight, I was feeling something bigger than just win a title or just win a fight. And I was feeling I was representing my whole team, and I was representing myself. Was the time to prove to myself that I was able to people look at me as like a world-class athlete. And it was really tough. It was really hard, my way to get to the final. I had fought a lot of tough guys. And all the guys, Jacaré was just smashing, tap everyone. People clap his hand before start the fight. People really was freaking out. So he tapped everyone. And my whole fight was a war. Like 20-20, something like that, crazy points. And I ended up on the final like, man, I was really, my body was all broke. And I swept him a couple of times. And to be honest, if you see the fight on YouTube, you can see I celebrate. Yeah, when the fight finished. And people at that time, they said, I celebrate because I achieved the maximum. No, I celebrate because I thought I won. I don't celebrate because I thought that was the best I could do. I was really happy with my performance. No, I celebrate because I thought I won.
Right.
But in the scramble, the referee gave him some extra points. But that's not excuse. Maybe if that was not the point, he gonna still manage to do another point because it was amazing competitor. I thought that was his day. The score was really close. Was really hard for the referee as well. Was an amazing fight. But that's the reason. I may just explain the reason why I celebrate. And I lost, but it was a beautiful fight, and I have beautiful memories from that fight.
When you talk about going in there with like that mindset of refusing, not going to tap no matter what, or you got Gracie Barra on your shoulders, and what gives you that kind of self-belief? Like, where do you draw that kind of belief that you can do that from?
Yes, I think when you're training hard to compete, in the exact moments, in the exact day, there is someone also training hard. When you end up in the competition and in your bracket, when you look at your bracket, how many people do you think did exactly the same hard work as you did? Maybe even more. Why? Why do you think you will be the different and you're gonna win? It's not how much you train that's gonna make you win, but what you believe, what you have in your mind. Of course, if you have a horrible jiu-jitsu, what I'm talking about, everyone the same level. You put hard work, the guy put the hard work. You're very technical, the guy is very technical. What's gonna make athlete number one and athlete number two different of each other? What you have in mind. I saw this for my life many years, amazing athletes, but they didn't have something special in mind. What would be this thing special? Depends. Some people gonna look, man. And that year for me was when I step on the mat, I got a goosebump my whole body because I wanted that so much. I want that fight to prove to my family that I wasn't what they expected. I wasn't what they was telling me all the time. Jiu-jitsu not gonna take you anywhere. Give up. What you doing? You don't go anywhere with this. So I want that fight so much. I want to be someone in jiu-jitsu. That was the chance to prove my family, my dad, who I was, that I can do something, that jiu-jitsu could take me somewhere. That was one thing. The other layer was I want to show my friends that I could represent us in the best level in the world. I want to make my friends so proud of me. And the third one, I want to make our team, Gracie Barra, put it in the highest place and make my master, my second dad, Carlos Gracie Jr., proud of me. So, and the last thing was myself. I want to make myself so proud of me. I want to make myself proud of my hard work. My everyday, my hard work from like every day, wake up at 7 a.m, go to bed at 11, training. If you just like barely eating, I want all that thing, just before clap his hand, just before tap his hand, all that come into my head. So I want to make sure that when you have all this emotion, all this inside you, then you're ready to fight. So we can see in there when Jacare gave him the hand to start the fight, I was super aggressive. The reason was I didn't want any energy from the other side over calm the feelings that I was having.
Yeah.
You know, I was not rude against him. I respect him as an opponent, but I wanted that fight so much. So you can see in the beginning of the fight, I'm super aggressive. And I was not there to make friends. I was there to win that fight. So when you have all these feelings, when you're there to fight, like if you think about, if you just born in a different time, at that moment, I'll be a gladiator. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then, well, one of those things going in, you were saying you want to make yourself proud. With the result and everything, were you proud of yourself though at the end?
I was. First of all, I was disappointed because I worked so hard, and in the end, I made one strategy mistake. I was listening to my friend Jeff somewhere outside. I also got confused with everything. And I just felt probably what Ronaldo Jacaré felt in the previous year. I just felt the title went through my fingers. But I was fighting for the best, one of the best of all times there. And I thought I was winning. And then when I look myself in the mirror, I always have these things after the fights. I always look myself in the mirror straight after and I ask myself, did you do your best? Did you do your best? If the answer is yes, I'm proud of myself. But I finished the fight like I felt I put all my cards on the table, everything. I didn't have any other card to pull out. And I did what I should do. But the result didn't work out for my side, but I was really proud of myself.
Right. Does it matter how you win the match? As in, I remember speaking to Victor, and he quoted Ayrton Senna in that, if a racing car driver no longer goes for the gap, he's no longer a racing car driver. And Victor said, if a jiu-jitsu athlete no longer goes for the submission, they're no longer a jiu-jitsu competitor. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think it matters?
Yes, I was trying to go for the submission. But sometimes when you fight against the best, especially when you start getting close to the final, start getting harder. Especially in my case, because I fought many years. I'm like 41, just turned 41 in October. My last fight was like 3 years ago. And I was master 2, whatever, fight against adults people.
Right.
So the gap of, and to be fair, I didn't really feel the gap technical wise or even the strength wise, but the timing of competition. So now I'm a business person, also I'm professor, also I'm this, and that person just focus on that, right?
Right.
And I'm in the wrong moments. I'm jumping on the young person journey to mess up his journey.
Yeah.
Right? So
keep going.
So yes, I always wanted to fight for the submission. I will always chase the submission. But sometimes you have to fight, you have to use the rules, right?
Yeah.
If you see you're not gonna tap the person and you keep on trying the fight finish and didn't trying to score points, and in the end they're gonna lose. So yeah, but my goal was, always to tap.
For sure. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, you mentioned earlier when Master Carlos was talking about how jiu-jitsu is going to grow, and it's about what the meaning of jiu-jitsu and not just going out to fight. What does jiu-jitsu mean to you, what is the meaning of jiu-jitsu? What does it mean to you now? And has that changed over the years as you've kind of come through?
Yeah. A lot of people ask, how would be my life without jiu-jitsu? I don't know, because my life was always jiu-jitsu. But jiu-jitsu for me, it's a tool to express the real Lucio, the real Lagarto. It's a tool that helped me to help the human being. I use jiu-jitsu for a lot of things. I use jiu-jitsu to heal myself. I use jiu-jitsu to heal others. I use jiu-jitsu to understand people. I use jiu-jitsu as my fun time. I use jiu-jitsu as my meditation. Jiu-jitsu is everything for me, you know. So that's, I can't see myself without jiu-jitsu. If I get like 10 million, 20 million right now, tomorrow I wake up and I will do exactly the same thing. So I have a lot of people will live and die 10 times and you'll never find a purpose in life. I found my purpose. And my purpose without jiu-jitsu, I will have zero purpose. You know, so the jiu-jitsu everything for me.
When you think about yourself as a professor, what makes a great professor or a great coach for you? Is there a difference between a good professor and a great professor? What's the difference there?
I think that the difference is to understand everyone's journey. And that's really hard after that times pass, because yourself, your present moment as your level in that moment, sometimes is gonna blurry the level of the white belt that just started. So when you put yourself in the shoes of the others, you can understand the struggle they have, even how to tie the belt. You're gonna be able to understand their lack of confidence. You're gonna understand why they're lining up on the wall with their crossed arms. And all this, you can help them and you can guide them to become a better in life. And I think when you help someone to achieve his best self, the best of himself or themselves, that's you achieve the 5-star coach or professor. I think that's the challenge.
We talk a lot about jiu-jitsu being a tool to develop people, and what we're doing is developing people. We're just using jiu-jitsu as the tool and the vehicle for that. What kind of advice do you give to your coaches and stuff? Where do you see them sometimes, for lack of a better word, failing, and you want to correct? And where do you see room for growth?
Well, everyone who works with me, I want to see them, if they like to compete, I want to help them to achieve the best. What's the best in our sport? To win the Worlds, to win the no-gi, to win the DCC, and to win the other tournaments. But what I tell them every time, and I try to share with them, is, and after that, who you are after that. Who are you after that, right? Because you win the Worlds and what? You win the DCC and what? So I try to help them to think outside the box. And even if I'm not even talking about money, if you think about football players, they make so much money, but when they retire, a lot of them just an empty shell. They end up using a lot of drugs. They get lost in life. A lot of actors, really famous actors, they lose their purpose in life, and a lot of them kill themselves. So I always ask, and I always challenge my coach and the professors, asking them and trying to guide them with purpose in life. What is your purpose in life? Your purpose cannot be just win a title. Your purpose needs to be bigger than that. And once you understand your purpose, I think the happiness, the real happiness, is going to happen in your life. And that's, I think that is my mission as the mentors.
That's great.
As the mentor. But a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people, but that come through my life, I help them, and I can see they become a better human being. If they agree or not of my point of view, when I left, they are better. And that's making me really happy. But sometimes it's like they will just understand this after many, many years. They need time to understand that. Because especially the world that we live in now, people want the result right now. They just start to work, they want to have a school right now. They barely teach in some classes, they want to have a huge salary and a big car and a big house. And unfortunately, life doesn't work like that. It's not like a fairy tale. Those who stick with me, we're gonna grow together. And that's what I help them to. I see my coach, the professors around me, if they want in the future open his own school, I'll help them whatever they need. If they want to open with me, maybe because I don't know if I want to keep open schools, but I can help them to achieve the best what they want. But my main goal is to guide them if the real purpose in life. That's what I try to do.
Do you remember a time when one of your professors or coaches or mentors made you feel really special?
Yeah, that's where we say something in Portuguese that's really interesting. Gratitude doesn't cost anything, but means a lot. When my coach and my professor showing gratitude, that means so much. And the gratitude doesn't, sometimes it's very simple to express gratitude. Professor, thank you very much, for your time to be here with me in the competition. Thank you very much for everything you do for me. I understand that it could be with your family and you choose to be beside me. Thank you very much to be here, every day. Thank you very much. Just thanks, that doesn't cost anything, but means a lot.
What about, has any of your professors, mentors given you a piece of advice that has stuck with you, like deep down for a long time? Yes. I learn a lot of the guys, even the young ones. I listen a lot, and I always trying to listen the point of view of the guys, and trying to get it better as a human being. I have something that if I have a challenge, if I have something to sort out, I want to sort out now. Like, okay, let's do this now, let's go. And sometimes that can build up a lot of stress. So I try getting better at this, that this and any other thing. So every time they have something, the real ones, they'll come, Professor, can you talk? I'm feeling like this, like that. And I'm really glad when they express what they're feeling, the feelings, because I can see where you can adjust and where you can get better together. Right. What does it mean to you to be a martial artist? Like, what are the values that you should try and live by?
The values of martial arts. Well, the main value of the martial arts for me is respect. And the martial art taught me so much that I see myself the way how I am with my master. It's something really special. And the world I live in now, it's really rare. I see kids don't have respect for their own parents. You know, everyone think they're the center of the universe. And especially jiu-jitsu, because jiu-jitsu have the power to make the person super humble. Huh? They think they are the top guy in all this, and get there and tap for someone like half of his size. So that's humble person really quick, right? And yeah, I would point the respect is there, and they're trying to live through that, you know. And that's come a lot of things together, you know. How I respect my students. It's gonna be the way how they will respect me, you know. And with that, a lot of things will come together.
I'm sure you might even be bored of talking about it now, but could you? A lot of our listeners are new to the sport because we're a new school. Could you tell us your story about going through cancer and your overcoming of that?
Yes. In 2007, I got diagnosed with Hodgkin lymphoma. It's cancer in our lymphatic system, and I was level 2 between my lungs and my shoulder blades. No, shoulder blades. No, how do you call it? Is
Collarbones.
Collarbones. Thank you, collarbones. And my life changed for the best, because I managed to really start to appreciate the small things in life, the miracles that people ask me every day, and we don't appreciate. I start to appreciate it, and I start to hold myself a little bit, to reduce the gear of the car. Too fast to achieve too much, and I was not really appreciate what I really had. Family, love, health, things that wake up every day and we just don't appreciate. And the doctors told me I wouldn't be able to compete in high level. The doctor also told me I wouldn't be able to have a child. So I remember I was on my 27 years old, and I remember I laughed. And the doctor, who was like super serious, looked at me. I said, "You're laughing. You're not going to be able to compete anymore. You're not going to be able to have a child." I said, "Listen, doctor, do your best and I will do my best. If I can't have a child anymore, no problem. I'm going to buy a bunch of Labradors and French Bulldog. I'm going to have the same headache. And compete, let's see." And I'm really happy and really proud, because after that, during the treatment, I managed to win the biggest tournament in Rio de Janeiro, was the state of Rio, and I won my division, the open division. And
which is just insane, by the way. Like,
yeah.
My mum had stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Oh wow!
And so I know what it's like.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what it's like, but I know it's like seeing someone go through that, and I couldn't even imagine competing or even walking up the stairs without being completely destroyed. So to do that is beyond
hard.
Insane.
Yeah. But on my head, I was good. I was not feeling anything. Of course, I feel sick of the treatment. I feel all those things, but it was just matters of time. I knew I'll be good. And I have so much faith. And I knew that the God plans was way bigger than I just die, you know. And I managed to I remember when I told my friend, Dr. Alexandre, he's a very good friend of mine, black belt. I told him, listen, I really wanna compete. I said, why? Why do you wanna do this? Because I was training. I was training, but I was doing my treatment was like every Thursday. And then Friday I was feeling horrible because of chemotherapy. And then Saturday I was recovering, washing my car. I used to wash my car because I'm under the tree. And I was washing my car 3-4 times a day just to do some type of exercise. I used to put 10 kilos every treatment of corticoid, the type of steroids that in the treatment. That's the right way to say corticoid?
I think so, that's right, yeah.
And I used to put 10 kilos. And then on Monday, I was ready to go. And I was training Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I was every 2 weeks. So one Thursday yes, one Thursday no one. And I have like a beautiful week of training. And I said, no, I want to compete. I said, why do you want to do this? Why? I said, listen, can you be by my side? If something go wrong, just look after me. I said, okay, I'll be by your side. But that moment was really interesting because it was the moment that I stopped the chemotherapy and I started to do radiotherapy. They call like sandwich.
That's like one of the worst parts because it builds up, doesn't it? Like, yes. You know, the last chemo is like one of the hardest ones.
Exactly. But the chemo was giving me like, I was feeling sick, but the radiotherapy was really quick. So I just go there, bam, finish. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. I can just go back to the beach. I can surf. So I was surfing every day, like before the sun, because my skin was super thin.
Right.
I was super white. So I was surf like from 6 a.m. until 8:30, full of sun cream, hat, you know, but
real English style.
Yeah, exactly. I was having the best time. And then I go to do radiotherapy. I have to do the radiotherapy. I think I have to do every day. Yeah. And then I drive like 1 hour to the radiotherapy, then wait, the sun set, and I surf in the dark again, the sunset, and then I go train Jitz.
Wow.
So every day. And I told my friend I wanted to compete. Then was really interesting because that was like kind of 3 weeks after I stopped the chemotherapy. And the chemotherapy, they kill all your veins. That's why a lot of people, they put a little thing on straight into your heart.
Yeah.
Instead go through the veins because the chemotherapy burned the whole veins. And my veins gone at that moment. And was really interesting because after 3 weeks, when I was competing, the kimono got stuck on my forearm, because the grip, when the forearm get really big, full of blood, right? And I was fighting, competing, like my 3rd, 4th fight. And then my kimono got stuck on my forearm. And then I looked at my friend right outside. People didn't know I was sick, And I was fighting. In that moment, I was fighting the final of my division against Evangelista. And he's world champion. He's a really tough guy. And I was winning. And I was holding, And the kimono got stuck on my forearm and I could see my whole veins. Wow. I was like... And the guy was
fighting. I couldn't do the chemo now.
Yeah.
Easily find the vein.
Exactly.
No more stabbing.
And then I looked at my friend, my doctor friend, who was just by the edge of the mat. And me and him was looking at each other and I was looking like, man, I'm back. Yeah. I'm alive again. That feeling was so amazing. And the guy was so concerned about the fight and I was celebrating my veins, like, yeah, I'm back, man.
You
back.
Already won. Yeah.
Yes, I'm winning, man. Doesn't matter, And I won the fight. And eventually the open division, I fought and then I went to the final. And then the final supposed to be myself against Braga Neto, also fight UFC, very tough guy, my friend, and he gave me the victory in the final. He knew what I was passing through, and said, Lagarto is yours, and then I won my division and the open division. So
amazing.
was tough time. It was really tough time, but that just made me better.
Where does that stand for you in like the highlights of your career? Is that the top?
No, that was, I would say, that was the reborn. I felt that moment like, because when you pass through something like that, you don't really know if you're gonna die or not. Eventually you get so scared, but eventually just start to, whatever, I'm gonna live as intense as possible. And at that moment, I felt like I will not die. I'm gonna be here for a long time. You know, I'm alive. I'm reborn in here. I was feeling so strong, and I will overcome that. And after, before I finished the radiotherapy, I supposed to come back to the chemotherapy, completed all the protocol, but I waited a bit at the cancer right there. When the doctor said, no, let's carry on with the protocol, let's go back to chemotherapy. That was the hardest one, because I knew I didn't have it anymore, the cancer, but I have to go back there and finish, you know. But it's really weird to say that, but I'm glad. I'm glad that God blessed me to be able to overcome that and to pass through that experience.
But you won't be the person you are today without going through that, right?
I don't think so. That's helped me so much to see the world in a different perspective. And sometimes I get caught in the word thoughts, and then I bring the thoughts that I'm just sharing now, the real life. What's real life? We are just in a phase that in a click of finger is gonna pass. Our life is not even like a smoke. Our life is like a steam. Right? The smoke can stay long. Our life is just a steam. Is that right? Steam, right?
Yeah,
steam. And that's will pass. And we need to take advantage. We need to understand. We need to reconnect ourselves to something bigger. And that's what I try to do every day.
How do we live a good life then? Or what's the Lucio Lagarto guide to a good life? Lots of jiu-jitsu.
Good life for me is to remember the people who really loves you every day and to tell them. Because a lot of times we just want to tell people who we really love when the thing's just about to finish. When someone's sick and they're bad in the hospital, they want to go there and tell them how much you love them. Or when they pass, they go to the funeral and say, oh, then tell the beautiful story, how much we love you, blah, blah, blah. How many times did you have a chance to do this while he was in life, or her?
Right.
And tell the people that you really love them. And do what you like to do. I love surfing. I love jiu-jitsu. For me, you know, life, when you have jiu-jitsu and surfing, life is way more fun. And that's what I want to give to my family. I want my family to have a very healthy and connected life with the nature, and to understand the miracles that God gives us every single day. That for me is to live. Anything like to be stressed about chasing money, how much money have a bank account, blah, blah. Money is important in life. Don't understand me wrong. If a lot of people have the beautiful idea to become a yogi and live in the mountains until they find out they need food, right? Until they find out they need to pay the bills. If you are rich, you have a rich family and you can do this, well done, do it, live your dreams. But you need this balance. You need to find something that you're gonna do that you love. For me, jiu-jitsu. I love to help people through jiu-jitsu. And that's also is my income. And that's my biggest sponsor to live my life. And I think I'm a very happy person. You know,
Amazing.
That's all I can say.
Just before we finish up then, today the ICP 2022 comes out, and I'm thinking a lot about the future of jiu-jitsu. And it seems right now that there's a big rise in, say, like the no-gi side of things. Do you see no-gi and gi splitting even further? Do you think gi was going to die out and it's just going to be all no-gi? What do you see the future of jiu-jitsu looking like?
I think that's really funny because I think like, when you see like, like when the things start become the trending, right? Like you see like people before used to use like big jeans like at the bottom. I don't know how they call
flares.
Right? The flares, and that was like the thing at the moment. And they now it's horrible. Now need to use tight jeans. Like need like a wetsuit. Right? And then eventually the thing come back. Right? I look as what happened now. That's happened before as well. The nights, like I remember Luta Livre was talked so much about the no gi is gonna take over the world. Nobody gonna train in gi. But I think as gi and no gi is everything is jiu-jitsu. Of course, like what I can see, what really changed, people just start to appreciate more, understand more the footlock, right? People say, okay, we need to put more attention in the footlock. Let's do this. Let's work. But that's not mean like American Jiu-Jitsu or some no-gi guys. It's just part of the improvement of the Jiu-Jitsu. Before, when you attack foot, was like something like ugly. But now, it was like lack of technique, right? People just start to understand better. And all these movements, who gain with this, it's the jiu-jitsu, I don't see like no gi taking over and the gi dying, I see like both growing, together.
It's all jiu-jitsu.
It's all jiu-jitsu.
Amazing. Well, Professor Lagarto, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I really enjoyed this. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay.
You're more than welcome.
Until next time, guys. Take care.
Thanks,
Thanks, Professor.
Thank you, my brother.